why is everything that NATO churns out negative about China? It goes to the lowest possible intellectual level, saying China is a threat or a challenge, as the word now is. It's a challenge to the West because it's different. Now, the idea is it's dangerous because it does things differently in a different way from how we do it in the West. So whether one day it is the accusation that there's forced labor in Xinjiang, or the other day it is you're enabling the war in Ukraine, or you're doing this and that, I wouldn't take it serious because this is part of a propaganda machine. It has nothing to do with reality. Most of the cases, I'm not saying there cannot be conflicts between the West and China. There will always be some. But this idea that this is we, the innocent NATO and Western world, who are all the time threatened and challenged by nasty forces around the world, that is a psychological sickness. This is not normal. If an individual felt like that all the time, you would advise that person to go to a psychiatrist, because the whole world is threatening me. No matter what I do, where I walk and what I do, I'm threatened by this or that. This is perverse. I'm seriously of the opinion that you can no longer understand Western politics by rational analysis, by political science, by the study of international relations, by the textbooks of the universities about doctrines and international affairs. You've got to include social psychology, psychiatry, theology, and eschatology. The idea about the end view, which is what nuclear weapons is about. That's having a view of the end of civilization and ourselves and everybody else. Everything is dangerous, and therefore we need more weapons to satisfy not the needs of the people or security and peace, but to satisfy the needs of the cancer called the military, industrial, media, academic complex. The day we can come to the conclusion that nobody's threatening us, and that was what happened when Soviet Union fell apart, they are in deep trouble. And you have to find an enemy every week that you can legitimate your ongoing armament with, which is all based on squeezing out money from taxpayers. We're all paying for being put to war. So the long story short is, of course, we are way into something that is not normal, which is not rational. Give you one example apart from this enabling stuff and these accusations. Present conservative government pushed through 17 new bases, American bases in Sweden. Now, what do you think would happen if Russia or China built bases in an area very close to the opponent? And they are unable to see it. The word empathy does not exist anymore in security politics in the West. We are unable, profess to be unable to see that this could be a problem for Russia to have, for instance, these missile systems in Germany, or for China to see that China will not necessarily see it as very positive to be called an enabler of the war in Ukraine. I have never been an anti-American, as I say in any interview I give, and this is not anti-Americanism, this is anti-militarism, anti-war, anti-imperialism, and anti any attempt to dominate the whole world. We want unity and diversity. I think that's what humanity wants. Well, I think that NATO is in crisis, whether it has to do with the consequences of Ukraine and the costs that will incur on European economies. So I'm just saying I hope that China will be patient enough to kind of live with those types of non-serious but still dangerous and deplorable statements coming out of an organization that is basically falling apart, will fall apart at some point, namely NATO.